I really thought that you were going to figure out that 1 and 2 were real, because 1, I just thought that the writing was, even though it's really dumb, it has a pretty good flow to it, and it's actually probably better than I could come up with personally. So I'm glad that, I actually got some credit that I could have wrote that, a little bit. But, so this was the one that I thought it had 15 million fucking views on it. It's one of the worst music videos I've ever seen. It's fucking ridiculous. This is the honorable mention.
The first one?
Granger Smith featuring Earl Dribbles. or Earl Dibbles, either Earl Dribbles or Earl Dibbles.
Oh, you should see a doctor about that.
City Boy Stuck. And it's just a song about how, seeing a guy from the city get stuck in his little car in the mud and having to get, bailed out by somebody in their big truck. And the fucking chorus is just City Boy Stuck, more or as worthless as a 1 point buck. I didn't write down any more.
There's still meat out of 1
15 million views. 15 million views.
Yeah,
and a Vivo video, official. He's signed to a label, these guys.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Why do I bother trying to write good lyrics?
Loose Stool with Matt and Nick.
Last night, man, my impulsiveness got the best of me again. And you already kind of know this because we were talking as I purchased this item. But I decided to invest in a spirit box for $84 off of eBay. Just because, you know what, I don't like real world problems that much. I'm much more interested in getting to the bottom of just maybe there's a ghost in my apartment. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm just going to look this up right now. And the cheapest, well, it wasn't the cheapest one that I found, but it seemed like the most middle range reasonable. So I got that covered.
Well, I would like more of a background on just what a spirit box is in general, because I still, kind of explained to me last night, but I want to know, what it looks like and all that shit, because I still don't really know, what the fuck it actually does, other than tries to help you communicate with the other world.
Yeah, it's like an it's like EVP, which I don't even remember what that stands for, but basically what it is, it's like a little transistor radio that is programmed to just continuously cycle through dead radio stations, and supposedly because
dead radio stations.
Yes, for the dead. But supposedly ghosts can talk through it because of they can somehow latch onto the energy that it's putting out of the radio waves, whatever. We had that whole episode where I talked about the dick ghost in my apartment, so I decided I wanted to get to the bottom of it and see if I can talk to anybody. And even if nothing comes of that, I've been involved in noise music and experimental music projects like that, so I figure at the very least I can get some use out of it. But I do have to give a compliment to the guy who sold it to me. Apparently their company is Buckeye Nation, and I woke up to an email from them this morning because I bought it kind of late last night, and this guy is bending over backwards. I don't think they probably get a lot of sales, not surprisingly, but he was sent a very nice email well, if you have any questions you can email me, although if I don't get it over the weekend, I'll get it first thing in the morning on Monday, and I'll make sure to have it to you by the end of next week. Shit, man. I did pay $8 for shipping, but he's just seems like a nice guy, and it's a good business. So if you're in the market for ghost hunting equipment, Buckeye Nation. Shout out to Todd.
Can I get the thing? Can I get the vacuum with the backpack like the Ghostbusters use, so I can suck up fucking...
I didn't look at their whole website.
It's not a vacuum. It's the light. I had that all backwards. I forgot they put it into the box. Streams. It's been a while. So yeah, it's like a electros. I'm trying to... Yeah, that you see what I was going for there. It didn't work.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what to call it either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just being
there's
impulsive. That's what I do. I have such dog shit. Like, I don't
You
know.
set it up
Sometimes I
in the
can't stop
first
myself.
night. It's like, I'm sorry, I totally cut you off, but I was just thinking the first night you set it up, and all of a sudden it's just Dick Ghost, huh?
Well, I'm excited because like I want to. If something does happen, which like I'm not expecting much, but I mean it would be cool if something's coming through and it's like maybe it do you know my name? Do you see what I do in here? Because that makes me uncomfortable. I'm just kidding. I mean, I've
don't buy a black light. I've stained everything.
Well, I could buy a black light and maybe he left fingerprints or something. I don't know. Could be.
Well,
you never know,
Dick
Nick.
Ghost is just splooging all over your curtains and just like he's just whenever you're gone at work, he's just jerking off in your apartment all day, just getting everything all fucking
I probably don't
ghost,
need to be gone.
Ghost to Jack. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You all of a sudden you ever have it where all of a sudden it felt like something hit you in the eye?
Not especially, but I did have those. I did have 2 styes in a row, so that might have something to do with it.
Oh yeah, I bet he's rubbing his ass on your pillow.
That's why I got rid of that pillow.
It's good. Yeah. It is interesting to me though, like why radio waves? Like, what is it like?
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like I don't want to call it like electromagnetic, but it has something to do with like the energy that it's putting out. Like it's an invisible wave that's traveling through empty space. So like
Almost like sonar.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I don't claim to know how any of this shit works, or even if it does work. I just it's a curiosity.
Well, I was thinking, if you picture that there's like bouncing radio waves, and then if you're assuming that what is happening is they're like deflecting off of things that are there but you can't see, that would be like the same effect as like just sonar, except for it's like with something you can't. You're just like, why is the radio wave all of a sudden bouncing here, when it's a wide open space or something like that, where it should just be continuing. Because, like, FM bounces up and down more, and then AM's like a straight line.
AM's AM's at least a lower frequency wave that travels farther, yeah.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is it like is going like tower to tower, just like. Whereas like FM's like bouncing up and down through the clouds, which is why you get like a strong. It's something like that. I don't know. But
well, I thought AM like I thought the reason that AM went farther was because it travels through things easier because it's not as violent of a pattern, and it kind of like bounces off the atmosphere basically.
Yeah, I think we're kind of saying the same thing. We just both don't exactly know how to explain it.
Right. That happens often.
Yeah, but we're in the ballpark of how it works, but it's definitely true that AM travels further. Like I remember there were times in Random Lake where I thought it was so crazy on some clear nights. And I think I brought this up kind of recently. We were talking about something, and I always forget now like when things are said on the show and when if we're just talked about them like at another point. But I remember like every once in a while I'd get like some AM radio station coming in from like Cincinnati. In Random Lake, just
really?
like out of nowhere, it'd be like a Bengals football game that wasn't being like nationally broadcast or something that was on. Like,
well, of course not. It's the Bengals.
That was kind of crazy. Yeah. That's what nobody's picking up the station, so it just keeps carrying just into space.
They have to do that so someone will listen. Last night, I watched this Nick Cage movie. Came out 2018, and is called Between Worlds. And it's not a horror movie. There are ghosts involved, but it's more of like a drama than anything. And so here's the thing. I click on it randomly because I just do that lately because Netflix had, I'm so sick of just like looking through Netflix for a half an hour just deciding what to watch. So now I just like, yep, that popped up. That's what I'm watching. And I clicked on this thing. I saw it was Nick Cage, so I'm like, we'll see. But it opens up and says score by Angelo Badalamenti. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know that name, but he made the theme song and like all the music for Twin Peaks, one of my favorite shows. I'm wearing a Twin Peaks t-shirt right now, actually. And like, well, okay.
Wow.
That was not pre-planned. But I was like, anyway, okay, like, he doesn't usually attach his name to garbage stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. And the movie is like Nick Cage plays a trucker who meets this woman at a truck stop, and her daughter is dying. And she apparently has this ability to leave her body spiritually if she gets like choked out because of some like experience she had drowning as a kid, and like enter the other realm to talk to ghosts and all that. Kind of like, in a way, like it's a Sixth Sense sort of like whatever. And honestly, for the first like 30 to 40 minutes, it had like really good plot development, really good character development, actually hooked me in. And I was like, okay, like maybe Nick Cage made a good movie for once. And then about 45 minutes in, it starts getting real borderline pedophilic. And so I was like, this is making me highly uncomfortable, but maybe it's worth it. Maybe it has a good ending. And from that point on, I can honestly say that it just got worse and worse. It was like the movie started pissing in my face with a stronger and stronger stream until finally at the end it turned around, took a dump in my lap, and wiped its ass with my fucking shirt and walked away, because that ending was so... I was so angry at the ending of this movie, and like because it got me, like it roped me in to be interested in these characters, and then the whole shit just fell apart, and I ended that movie and actually said fuck you to my own television. So yeah, moral of the story, don't fucking watch that movie. Between Worlds, suck my dick.
See, it sounds... I'm really stuck on the analogy, because if it was like it started I feel like if I got pissed in the face, the second that I started being pissed on in the face, I would stop that from happening. I wouldn't just sit there and keep going maybe I'll eventually like this. Maybe it's just that I haven't gotten used to it. Maybe I haven't developed a taste for piss in the face quite yet. Maybe it's an acquired thing. And if I just sit here long enough, I just keep letting them piss on me longer and longer and longer. There had to be, I guess that's what you were saying about, the first 30 minutes is, they kind of were tickling your balls. And when you're like, oh, I kind of like that. I like my balls getting played with a little bit. And then they started pissing in your face while they were still tickling your balls. Is that a little more accurate?
Yeah. It was a very mischievous and underhanded transition. I say underhanded as I make this motion that only you can see about tickling balls. But yeah, it started as
doing
a
a ball fondling motion.
Yeah, it started as just a little trickle. Just a few little drops hit me on the cheek, and then by the end of the movie, it was like a fucking racehorse was just showering my forehead.
And you're like, if I just, because you're like, I don't want to get blue balls, so maybe if I just stick this out a little while, I can finish, and it'll be fun, it'll be a good thing. But in the end, you still got blue balls, and they shit on you at the same time,
which I'm not into. For the
that
record.
is horrible.
Yeah. And there's even a scene.
But it's okay if you are. It's okay if anybody out there is. You do your thing. Just as long as you take a good shower afterwards.
If it ain't hurting anybody, go for it, buddy. But all the same, there's this scene where he's fucking this 18-year-old girl. At least they say she's 18 in the movie. And I don't know how much Nick Cage had to do with the production or the writing of this plot, but they went as far as, it seemed just so fucking egotistical that they had him reading out of, a very obvious, like it was his own book, Nick Cage's own book, Memories, that I don't know when that came out. I didn't know it existed until the movie.